What's up, y'all? Anwar A&R Show. We know it's been a little minute, man, but we back. And we still inside, man. Hope y'all staying safe. Washing your hands regularly. Mask up if you got to go out. Get your gloves and all that. Joined by the lovely.
And Slim Reed, did you know the fucking vibes?
Yeah, y'all know the vibes. So, this is one that we kind of were torn about speaking on. Because, you know, we don't really get involved in the drama and the back and forth and all that. But it's one of those ones where when you think about if the shoe were on the other foot, it would be a Twitter uproar, there'd be a million blogs, etc., etc. And I haven't seen much regarding this situation. So we were there, we were at the event, friendly with some of the people involved. So we said, you know what, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, Guardians of the Culture, the Invasion. March 7th.
We had some really, really great that 2-on-2 was magnificent.
Yeah.
Don Marino did a great job. Like, we just had the night was amazing. Both nights, let me say that. Both nights were amazing. Profilini battled that same during that event.
Weekend,
So we got some great battles out of it. However,
wait a minute.
Nobody has seen
I'm about to say, it's like
any of the battles yet. None of the footage has been released.
No, that's not true. DNA and drugs.
DNA and drugs came out. But besides that, what else came out?
Well, so DNA, he put his footage out and, you know, he addressed it on Twitter. He said he owns the rights to his footage. Since then, we saw Av and Dre Dennis. That dropped on Gates of the Garden. But when I looked the other day, I didn't see it. So I don't know if it was taken down or what. But that was it. The 2-on-2 was epic. It was, a fire battle.
A must-see battle.
Yeah.
And the public is not able to see it right now. A lot of people heard a lot of good things. About the battles that occurred. And, of course, the battle rappers were speaking highly of themselves and their opponents.
Yep.
And it's like, well, I can't wait to see this, and nobody has seen them yet. And that's one of the last battles that happened, one of the last events that happened.
Yeah, that was like the last...
Right before things kind of really shut down.
Yep, because that was the week before what was going to be the URL App Gang event, too. That was the week before.
Correct.
So, you know, I feel like I want to talk about why do you think this happened? So, we know that we've seen some tweets. B-Dot tweeted out.
B-Dot was the first that tweeted out. He said, y'all get on battle rappers' heads for not showing up and taking deposits. But what happens when battlers show up from cross country and give 100% and don't get paid?
Wow.
You know, and he added the lead. You know, he was very direct
with
his message and with, you know, who he was speaking to.
Yeah.
When you have something like that happen and the battlers are starting to come out to speak about it, you know, it starts to become an issue of, do battle rappers want to step out into these smaller leagues to battle in general? Like, you know, you hear about a league that's coming up and it's like, do I want to take the risk of not getting paid or having my battle be vaulted because of payment issues? Well,
here's the thing. I mean, the crazy thing is this. First of all, I mean, we don't know where the footage is. Who has the footage? Does Guardians of the Culture have the footage? Do the battle rappers have the footage? Did the footage get lost? You know, Avo filmed it. Does Avo have it? Like, we don't know what's going on with the footage. But the thing is, you know, I look at a situation like this, and this is just our opinion, ladies and gents watching us, so please don't take this as gospel. But our opinion, or my opinion, I'll say, is, you know, when you have a situation where you're not paying people, usually, the only reason you wouldn't pay somebody to perform the service for you is because you don't have the money.
Correct.
So, that card, I remember looking at the card. I remember, y'all know, NWX, Don Marino, I actually knew the card well in advance. But as it started rolling out, and they were tweeting out the matchups and stuff, fire card. I mean, if you think about the original card, it was K-Shine versus Big Cannon, 3 rounds. DNA versus Adi Boom, 3 rounds. The 2-on-2, B-Dot and Loso versus, B-Dot and Geechee versus Loso and A-Word. Like, these were some fire matches. These are some big name matchups. Dre Dennis and Ill Will, 3 rounds. Like, Av and, Av had Dre Dennis, not Ill Will. Don Marino had Ill Will. Av and Dre Dennis, that was a 3 round.
We had some really great matchups, and as you move along and you're starting to put the pieces together, like, how did you begin to feel?
Well, my thing is this. After the initial wave of information, there was no talk. There was no promotion. And I feel like, we got there. It was a nice sized crowd, but it wasn't.
It was to this venue before, and the last time we were there were much more people there.
Yeah, there was more people, and I think
so. Originally, when we arrived, there was about the same amount of people. You see the battle rappers there, maybe a few of their homies, a few people setting up, and it's like, okay, as people start to pour in, it's like, you're waiting for the crowd to build up, and it never built up. It kind of stayed at
why did it happen?
Smaller function, and I feel like that happened because of promo.
But yeah, I mean, I look at it like this. All right, y'all know we're part of Champion as well. So, shameless plug. I know Jay Black always says, you don't have to call Champion, call anybody. But I'm going to say, that event was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
It was 40 minutes from the Champion Studios.
Yeah.
They could have sent 2 or 3 guys up there, even if you didn't do face-offs. You send a couple guys up there to talk some smack. You know what I'm saying? And when you add to
we didn't even get that.
Yeah, we didn't get face-offs. There was no real promotion from the battlers, et cetera, et cetera. So you had Twerk and Bad News. And Bad News can talk. He talks his stuff. So I'm like, even if you don't get them there together, you send somebody like, let's say you send Bad News, Don Marino, and I don't know who else. A-Ward, Loso, Dre, any of them. You send those 3 guys to Champion to talk about the matchups, talk about the card. I feel like you sell more tickets, you sell more pay-per-view.
Correct.
If you don't want to send them to Champion, let's say, that's not in the budget. Then you call up Knowledge the God, 15 minutes of fame. Yep. You call up Uncle Rob, 15 minutes of fame. Knowledge the God. If I was real. My bad. I'm ramming.
Knowledge, or you call up Uncle Rod. You had these guys do an interview. You had these guys speak about the battles.
Right. And what happens is when you get people talking, sidebar, 40 Cal. Everybody's talking about 40 Cal right now. You know why? Because 40 Cal's on a Twitter rant. He's on any and every platform.
He's keeping his locomotive running.
Right.
He's fueling
talking his smack. That's the thing. You got to sell the battles. And I feel like the card itself was good enough. And I felt like the crowd
promo behind it would have been, it would have made it, over the top.
Right.
I feel like
that's where we could have filled the venue.
Definitely filled that space and had a decent amount of pay-per-view sales.
Yeah. So, again, I don't know what the situation is. I mean, I've heard some things. I'm not going to get into it because it's not my place. But, to know, you got guys like B-Dot and Geechee Gotti, okay? And I'm going to use them 2 specifically. Give me a bad performance from either one of them. Give me a time where either one of those guys, and that's not just like anybody else, but I'm using them as a focal point. Give me a time where either one of those guys you felt like came to a league and mailed it in or half-assed it. You know what I'm saying? And I hear you. I know. Geechee lost to A-Ward. Okay, he might have lost that battle, but he didn't mail it in. Like, A-Ward just happened to be better that day. But he still showed up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've literally talked to Geechee when he battled John. Yo, he flew in. He was working on like 3 hours sleep. He still came through and put on that Born Legacy stage.
That is a hard-working guy. He definitely always puts his best foot forward.
B-Dot, it don't matter the size of the league or who the opponent is. B-Dot's going to give you 110%. A-Ward and Loso,
all 4 of them gave us 110%.
Yeah.
Even
Twerk and Bad News.
Looking at the size of the crowd at the time that they battled, they still said, you know what, we came here to put on for these people no matter what. I don't care about the size of the crowd or who's in the crowd or how little or how big the crowd is. I'm going to still do what I came to do and what I was paid to do. So I feel like they are deserving of their payment, every last single one of them who were on the card.
Anybody, we don't know who all got paid, who didn't get paid. Right.
But I don't feel like everybody has spoken out about the issue. I feel like you have a select certain few people who are kind of leaders of the pack, so to speak. So they have that platform to kind of step out and say, I'm going to speak about this and make it be known. Yeah. I don't feel like everybody on the card can do that or can afford to have that argument back and forth with people.
Well, I disagree there because I think at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. If you show up, if you fulfill your contracted obligation, then you should be paid what you were contracted to be paid. Yep. And, the inverse, again, all right, let me go ahead and say it because I know that's what y'all thinking. So Twerk was supposed to battle Bad News. Let Twerk had not shown up for that battle.
Yeah.
It'd have been 15 blogs about how he didn't show up. Yeah, he's scammer. He ran off with a deposit. It'd have been blogs everywhere. Everybody would have been talking about it.
Yep.
But in this case, you have other people who did show up, performed.
And Twerk did show
up. And Twerk showed up with all 3 rounds. So did Bad News. Shout out to both of them. I've seen, and that's the other thing. You know, I've gone on record. I don't support the bootleg gang. I don't think that it's the way to go. I think that, you know, you're basically stealing from a very small. It's like stealing from a mom and pop store. I just ain't with it. That's my own personal opinion. Y'all do y'all. I've seen that there is bootleg footage going around with lots of views of the Twerk and Bad News battle. I got lots of flack for it on Twitter. I don't really care. Like, when I'm in the moment, like, somebody spitting bars, like, I'm going crazy. It is what it is. I really don't care. But that footage is not footage that the league put out or whoever owns it put out. That was like somebody screen recorded, I guess, their pay-per-view or something. And it's like, to have it that's where we are. That event was almost 2 months ago. Yeah. It was March 7th. Today is April 21st. Like, there's no reason that the footage shouldn't be out yet. So, I guess my next question is, where do we go from here? Where do the battlers go? You know, I'll say this. Let me give my respect first. Hold on. Geechee, B-Dot, I don't want no smoke, okay? Yeah. If there's certain people you gonna piss off, B-Dot and Geechee, they probably ain't the ones to try to steal from. Neither is A-Ward and Loso. I mean, when you go back to some of the crimes.
I think looking at the group collectively, that's not a group of people that you want to piss off and a group of people that you want to have angry with you.
Right.
But you go ahead. I'm gonna let you get into your thought.
It's just really, you know, I feel for those guys because it shouldn't take them having to go to Twitter or DNA was on Champion and he spoke about it when he was promoting the him and John battle. You know, he did say that fortunately he got paid.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just not fair. It's not fair. Actually, he mentioned that, you know, they left Don Marino high and dry.
Yeah.
Don, like, he didn't even get Don's travel or whatever. DNA mentioned that. So it's like, you know, to do something like that, I think that the next step, unfortunately, is that the battlers are going to have to sue the league for their money. There's really no other recourse. You know, the league hasn't tweeted or anything since then. So if you can't get in touch with them,
that is, you have to hope that this league is legally binding. Like,
contract,
a league, and the contracts are legally binding.
Right.
Because if this is not an actual LLC or a business, how do you sue that business? You now have to go after the person.
Right.
And let's just say that person is far enough away that you don't know their first and last name. You don't know what state they live in, or you don't know exactly where they are, or how to get in contact. How do you then sue to get your money?
I guess that's where B-Dot and Geechee come in. I'm sure they can find anybody they need to.
But
no, seriously,
that's where it starts to get difficult at, when you cannot necessarily put a face behind the league. Yeah. You get what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. But they had a face. I mean, you know, the guys had their contracts. I know Shine, he did a video talking about it or whatever. At the end of the day, once you have a contract, I didn't see the contracts, but I would assume that worst case scenario, there's like contract websites you can print out a free contract that's legally binding. You just fill in the information. So odds are they did something to that effect. So I mean, it's a shame.
They are deserving of their pay, each and every last single one of them.
That's a fact.
It was an amazing event.
And they've been around for, like, that's the thing. People think that Guardians of the Culture just popped out of nowhere. They didn't. They've been around for a while. They just started throwing bigger and bigger matchups.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've spoken to some people who, you know, they haven't spoken on it publicly, so I'm not going to put it out there. But, you know, they said that they've done business with them in the past on multiple occasions. So there would have been no reason to think that this time things are gonna but there was no reason to think that. Right. So and I totally understand that. You know what I mean? It's like,
but again, for me, it again pulls me back into these guys seeing a smaller league and the league trying to do things, but you're wary of going towards that league and working with that league because you're not sure if they can afford you. You're not sure if they can afford your travel, if they're going to leave you high and dry, if you'll get your second half after the event. Like, you have to then
and that's the thing.
Put your foot down and say, well, if you want me, I can't necessarily work with you because I've been got before in the past. So I can't say,
Right, yeah,
give me my back and I need all of my payment up front or I can't work with you.
Right,
because it's happened before.
Yeah, and that right there is what I'll say. That's going to be a situation.
It causes issues, and that also it prevents smaller leagues from growing, and it prevents the battle rappers from being able to rap. So battle rappers, they 9 times out of 10 they can go anywhere they want to go and rap. But when you are now stuck to certain leagues or maybe even one league because you feel like going to the smaller league, I don't know how this is going to work. I done did this league. You have to understand people get gypped by leagues
so do you
all
think
the time.
do you think that, and I mean, I don't know, I guess that's a good question, but do you think that those guys who didn't get paid, now they're looking at, do you think they're grouping all small leagues together and saying, well, that league gaffled me, so all y'all.
But now you're more cautious.
Oh, yeah,
You've had something happen, so now you're more cautious. You're more wary before stepping into a situation, with the same intentions that you had before. Now your intentions are to fully protect yourself and make sure that you're okay in the end because you've had something foul happen in the past.
But that's the thing. How do you do that? Like, I think the only way to do that is that's the thing. Contracts.
And even with contracts, like I said, if let's just say there's a company name, but the company does not necessarily exist, so you have to find the person, and you don't know the person.
Right, but
so
that's
what
the thing.
Do you do?
At that point, I mean, you have to get a lawyer. You end up having to probably spend more money
trying to get your money.
But unfortunately, something like that's where you do a class action. So I mean, we're not going to sit here and get to the legal aspects of it. The main thing, though, I think is. They do have to protect themselves, and the way to do that is to read your contract. But if the league runs off, and you do have a valid contract, I mean, you got to enforce it. You got to go. I know the whole no snitching movement, whatever. But at this point, this person owes you money, and you did the job that you were supposed to be paid to do. I mean, even locking the doors and taking it the old-fashioned way. There's a lot of people that's owe money. It ain't but that much blood, sweat, and tears that dude. And even still, if somebody's gonna scam you out of some money, odds are if you get it the old-fashioned way, then they probably gonna call the cops, and then that's a whole other situation that you don't need. So, unfortunately, this is what it is. But
it's a very sad situation. I hope to see things get rectified in the future.
Do you think that the league can come back from this? Let's say tomorrow they pay everybody that they owe.
What I will say is, in battle rap, anything is possible. So, I'm not going to say yes, I'm not going to say no. What I will say is anything is possible. However, I would like to see things be able to be smoothed over with these guys, and for these guys to be paid for the work that they did.
I got you. Your thing is like, let's get past this issue before we talk about the next one.
Yeah.
I got you. I mean, I just, personally, I think if they could write the check for everybody they owe money to tomorrow. And I think that any of those people and anybody they know would be like, okay, thank you for my money, but I ain't never dealing with you again. You know what I mean? I think that's how they would look at it.
Especially with it being such a large amount of people not being
right.
You may hear about maybe one person on a card not being paid.
Right.
It's rumor, but this time it's like you have multiple people stepping out and saying,
and
"Hey,
big
we
name
did not
people
get paid, and I need my money." And
right. They didn't shortcut Joey from up the street who raps at the Chinese store. You know what I mean? You talking about big name people.
Yeah, you have DNA coming out and speaking about it. You have B-Dot speaking about it.
Geechee, these are big name people. These are top tier people. So, let us know in the comment section what y'all think. Do y'all think that, can the league come back? What should the battle rappers do? Is there any recourse? And
if you were in this position as a battle rapper, how would you go about dealing with things? Everybody has their different ways of dealing with things.
Everybody in the comments like, man, I locked the door. Wouldn't nobody leave me, man. So, yeah, but anyway, again, let us know what y'all think in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the like button, share the video, comment, subscribe to the channel. We dropping regular content on a regular basis. So anyway, Anwar from A&R Show.
It's Slim Rita here.
And y'all know the vibes. We are inside. Peace out.